Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the Hey, we're coming to you here with another podcast. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe to us on YouTube, hit that little bell notification button if you would, so that you can get all the notifications of all the cool stuff we're doing on the Chris Voss Show. And be sure to subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/Chris Voss. And we've got some really cool stuff over there on the Patreon where we actually have exclusive private Facebook groups that you can get in, where you have a chance to actually win some of the cool products that we review here on the Chris Voss Show. So it's a great way to get on that. And there's almost some other stuff we're doing with the show and that channels. So today I'm joined with Heyday Footwear.com's CEO Darin Hager. I'm sorry, Darin. Darin Hager, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Chris. Great to be here with you.
Sorry to flub your name. I've got my beauty beam light zapping me in my eyes, and things are starting to go starry here, which is pretty much what we refer to as Wednesday.
Yes.
So how are things at Heyday? I mean, years ago, we reviewed some of your shoes and stuff, and I think you guys were kind of starting out about back then.
Yeah. I mean, the brand, apparently, according to LinkedIn, I just celebrated my 10th anniversary 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't quite remember, but I got about 250 congratulations on your work anniversary messages from not one single person that I know.
Were any of it in English?
Most of them were in English. Some were in Indian or Mandarin.
I always get that Middle Eastern people trying to talk to me, and I'm like, I don't speak your language. I'm sorry. I don't know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, it's been 10 years. I've pivoted a few times.
Nice.
I think when we last talked, quite a number of years ago, I was still selling wholesale. I had a sales team, and it was just as the recession was kind of ending in 2010, 2011, that I realized it wasn't going to work selling to stores anymore. I had gotten pretty far. I sold into Bloomingdale's and Finish Line and City Gear and like a lot of regional chains and Revolve Clothing and ASOS. I had distributors located elsewhere in the world. But I didn't have fast enough sell-through for the big guys. And all the little independent stores had no credit and no money. So they would order shoes at the trade shows in Vegas and in New York, and I would make the shoes for them, even with a signed purchase order. And then 3 months later, when the shoes were ready, they would refuse delivery. I don't have room in my stock room, or I don't have any money, or, you know, that must have been, you must have met with my partner, and that was his credit card that he gave you, and his credit card doesn't work anymore. Whatever story you could come up with, I got that story. But my sales manager left. He wasn't making enough money or any money. Took his reps with him. And I realized I needed to do something. Otherwise, I was going to be done. And I happened to read a book, which changed everything for me. And I will show you that book.
The book that changed everything.
Yes. Let me just find my book.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Oh, that one I was never good at. But this book,
yeah,
The New Rules of Retail.
There you go.
This book talks about the history of retail, going from Sears Roebuck in the early 1900s and late 1800s, selling by catalog, which was a whole new thing for the world, and then goes up to department stores and how they got big, and then chains, and then about 7 or 8 years ago, which is right when I changed, how brands realized they could cut out the middleman and sell direct to the consumer. You don't have to have the markup. You don't have to have, in my case, you know, I had maybe 8 or 10 buyers that were doing the bulk of buying from me. And if they didn't like the collection I had that season, then they didn't buy it. And that was one person. So I was letting 5 people, 8 people decide the future of my business. And a lot of times they were wrong. They didn't know what they were buying or not buying, whether it was going to work or not. So I went direct to consumer. I cut out all my wholesale accounts. I stopped selling to Bloomingdale's, which people are like, why would you do that? Well, because Bloomingdale's had me on consignment for 4 seasons.
Ow.
I wouldn't actually pay up front. So yeah, okay, it was great. I was in Bloomingdale's. Big deal. I didn't pay their bills. So I went direct to consumer. And the brand itself started as a streetwear brand, you know, just cool high tops. But I kind of morphed the brand, same product, which is really interesting. The product is the same as it has always been, but I found new customers for them. So originally it was kind of cool kids wearing, you know, cool sneakers. And then I kind of made my way into the hip hop dance world. I had gotten hooked up with a lot of stylists, including like all of the Fox TV stylists. So I had shoes on So You Think You Can Dance, America's Got Talent, X Factor, on all those shows. Wherever there was a dance group, they were wearing my shoes. But
nice.
That just wasn't a big enough market. I mean, a lot of the hip-hop dance market is 14-year-old girls. And they don't necessarily have any disposable income to spend on, you know, $100 and something shoes. It was what their moms would buy them. And it was just too narrow of a niche. In 2014, I happened to see some bodybuilders on Instagram actually working out in my shoes. And that was kind of like a pivot point for me. So I realized, holy shit, the fitness market, they want flat soles, they want high tops, and they want to look amazing and stand out from everyone.
You got to look good at the gym.
Got to look good at the gym. And that has been my focus since mid-2014 is on that fitness market. In 2012, I actually scored a really big licensing deal with a video game called Saints Row the Third, which was like on PS3 and Xbox, and it was basically like Grand Theft Auto. And I licensed the shoes to be in the game so that your character would wear the shoes in the game, and then we sold those same shoes exclusively at heydayfootwear.com and then on the game publisher THQ's website. And that was huge, but then THQ went bankrupt. So that was over. But a couple weeks ago, and this all goes back to networking and who you know. A couple weeks ago, I got a call from a guy who was a QA tester at Volition, which was the game studio that created Saints Row. One of the guys was my customer since Saints Row in 2012, and he had now moved on to another game studio. And he's like, "You interested in licensing for video games again? Because I want to connect you with the CEO of our studio, Iron Galaxy Studios." Talked with the CEO for a while. He suggested, you know, maybe I'd want to have shoes on Killer Instinct, which is a huge, huge game that Microsoft makes. It's like Tekken or Mortal Kombat. It's a fighting game. He connected me with Microsoft's licensing. I don't know. I guess they're a separate licensing agency called Beanstalk in New York. So I now have a proposal that I'm waiting on from Microsoft to have the shoes either be in the game or to just do shoes based on the characters in the game. But then from that, because the CEO of Iron Galaxy Studios passed me off to Microsoft, but then he came back a little while later and said, you know what? I think we'd like to do custom sneakers for our employees for a holiday gift. Okay. So we just did a custom set of shoes, 150 pairs for all of their employees, which they'll get for the holidays. And all of that, the Microsoft getting the business from them for their holiday shoes, was all because I had a rabid customer from 5 years ago who kept in touch with me. And it's about creating a relationship.
It really is.
Customers and your vendors and other people. I mean, look, we talked 6-7 years ago, and here we are talking again. It's networking. keeping those relationships going. That's what I find is the key.
In fact, it was May 4th on 2011 that I reviewed those. So pretty cool.
I don't even remember.
I'm just going off of I just pulled it up on the blog, the Chris Voss Show. So yeah, that was 6 years ago. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Like what you say with networking, you never know where business is going to come from. You never know when the next time. And then it's interesting how you're maneuvering the social media things that are out there. Like you're looking at Instagram and looking at people who've done, I forget what the term is, but they're basically, they've done their own use case for what they want to use your product for. Mm-hmm. And I've been in situations like that, creating businesses where we have a business model, and sometimes as quick as within 30 days, we realize that that's not where the consumers are that we want to go, and they're over here. And usually we discover that because the consumer goes, hey, this is what we'd rather use your product for. And being able to be attuned into that, where you can be listening and watching what the consumer is actually doing with your product and what they like doing with your product is paramount.
You have to do that, because at the end of the day, your customer is your customer. Like, you're not the customer.
Yeah. I mean, if they want to wear them on their fucking head, wear them on your fucking head. It's and there's a lot of examples. I'm trying to think of some recently in business that happens, where people, they go one way and they go the other. But you're applying also a real important principle of being an entrepreneur that's important for those of you who are listening on how to become entrepreneurs. The one failure that I always saw with entrepreneurs is they have a business model when they go in, and they ride that motherfucker to the ground. They just run it all the way out. And broke, that's when they start going, well, maybe I should do it a different way.
Yeah, like Bruce Lee said, you got to be like water.
Yeah, you got to be fluid, and you got to adapt. And even then, once you get a business model, like you say, sometimes that'll work for several years, and then all of a sudden it goes dry, and you're like, well, I'm doing the same thing I always did. Turns out the market has changed. Yeah, I had a problem with that in the mortgage business, where we forced the loan officers to take loans in our office. People would come to the office and do all that. And the market changed, where loan officers were going out to people's houses. And we weren't too keen on it, because we know how our salespeople are. You let them out of the office, and God knows what happens during office hours. But turns out the market changed on us, and I resisted till finally our sales were dropping incredibly. And then I made the switch, and they were happy again. So, it's great that you guys are paying attention, keeping your ear to the ground, and watching what people do with your product.
Yeah, it's super important. The focus has to be on the customer. And like, sometimes you gotta take a short-term loss. If the customer's not happy, or there's a defect or whatever, it's very easy to say, you know what, you're past the return policy date, or that's not my problem, or I have customers tell me, oh, well, someone stole my shoes at the gym, and I get a new pair. There's some stupid shit out there, but
is that not covered in the warranty? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Because I'm the owner, if someone is nice, I would go out of my way to help them, even if it's not in the policy. One of the most enjoyable things, at least after the fact, is when I have a customer who's an asshole, a very difficult customer, someone who's really not happy with the product, with the service, whatever it is. And then I talk with them, and I can turn them around, and they wind up saying, wow, I am a customer for life now. Yeah. And that is very, very satisfying.
A lot of people don't see that, the long ball to that. We used to have, with our mortgage business, every now and then a loan officer, you know, had not done his job or maybe misled people a little bit or not been very clear on some things. And so sometimes when they would go to closing offices, I'd get calls and, you know, I'd have someone very pissed off and the loan officer promised this and didn't deliver that and yada, yada, yada. And you kind of find out sometimes you have a bad employee. And there were some people that just read me the riot act, you know, every name in the book, tore me a new butthole. I was the worst human. I was next to Hitler by the customer service that they'd done. And I just take it. And my whole thing would be like, how much do we need to give you to make you happy back? How big does the check have to be? And, I'd make people happy and they'd be like, really? You're just going to do that? You're not going to argue with me? I'm like, no, I want you to be happy. What does it take? And there was, I remember there's one deal I think we gave back like pretty much all of their costs, like $5,000, and we ate it. And what was funny was a year or two later, those people would come back to me and I'd still have remembered all the shit that they'd given me for, you know, the last year where I'm like, I really should have killed that person. And they come in and they're like, you know, we love doing business with you. Oh, we came back to you, Chris, because we're so loyal. And we made so much more money than I ever gave back most times from people because they would be loyal to us. And so
turn them into an evangelist.
Yeah, focusing on that long ball is so important. You know, they're not just going to buy one pair of shoes. They're going to buy a whole mess of shoes, and they're going to tell their friends.
Absolutely. And if you give them a bad experience, they'll tell their friends about that too.
Oh yeah. I tell everybody about my bad experiences. I'm still doing that.
Yeah, it didn't work out too well for United.
Yeah, United's a really good example. Like, you know, it was bad enough. It was bad enough that United still, like when you say United to me, I remember the guitar. Remember the broken guitar? I remember the meme, the video. Like anytime you say United, click, that goes right in my head. And it's been 10 years, maybe. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, now it's the bloody guy's face.
Yeah, now it's the beat dragged through the hall. Yeah, you can't live that shit down like ever, man.
No, I mean, United I think, suffered a pretty big loss. Definitely a drop in confidence. Lots of people are like, screw it, I'm not flying United anymore.
The sad part is that the airlines are so small and so co-owned and everything. You kind of almost have to fly them if you want to get somewhere half the time. If you fly a lot,
yeah,
you know, you're just gonna have to take it because they're the only ones who will go there. And the competition has been so deregulated. But yeah, it's people just don't see the long ball of it with doing business. You can't focus on being one transaction. And a lot of people do that. They're focused on the immediate gratification transaction, whatever. Sounds like me when I'm dating. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what that means. But
there's a transaction involved in your dating. I know exactly what it means.
I live in Vegas. Let's put it that way. I don't know what that means. I'm sure it has to do with the card game. Some sort of poker.
There you go. Poker.
Some sort of poker game. I don't know what I'm talking about. So Heyday shoes, you guys are going well. You've broken the 10-year mark. That's the mark that I usually got paranoid with my companies because 10 years is usually when shit starts changing on you or some sort of, you know, the market changes or, you know.
Well, I've weathered all that stuff, you know, numerous times.
That's good.
I think just about every kind of problem that you could have, I've experienced. Customs delays, factory catching on fire, factory throwing us out, factory making the shoes all wrong, hurricanes. I mean, I've been through everything. And there were so many times I wanted to quit. I mean, I am Heyday Footwear. Like, Heyday and Darin Hager is really one entity, which means that all those years of up and down and problems and occasional successes, it affected me personally.
Yeah.
Like depression, bad depression. You know, every year, I around October, I would get into a bad depression and, you know, come out of it. But, you know, my wife is like, you know, in the morning you tell me you got a great deal, something happened, and you're really excited. By the time she comes home from work, I tell her, oh, something bad happened, and my whole everything about me is just opposite. You know, you really ride that wave up and down, and it's very tough. I don't know that everyone can take it. A lot of people talk about it, and you see all those charlatans on Facebook and Instagram. They're millionaire mentor bullshit. You know, just buy my fucking course, and then you'll know how to create a course and make millions of dollars and have this Lamborghini that you see right here. I think a lot of that is bullshit. A lot of it is Instagram mirages. You know, okay, yeah, I'm doing it 10 years. You know what? This is my house. I'm still doing it out of my fucking house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's gone up and down. It's on the way up, but you know, I sell direct.
You don't have to have the sort of shit you used to have anymore to do business.
I don't need an office. You know, there's lots of things that you can cut out by going direct. Do I wish the business was 10 or 20 times bigger than it is? Absolutely. But it's moving its way up. I just took on my first investment from an angel in June.
There you go.
So that was very exciting, and probably the reason why I'm not very depressed.
There you go.
You know,
that's why you want to get on camera with the Chris Voss Show. I see.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
You know how you fix that CEO entrepreneur depression, don't you? Vodka.
I have chosen vodka in my Moscow Mules, which I drink.
The Moscow Mules, dude, so awesome.
I graduated from the Dark and Stormy because I got tired of rum.
Yeah.
Tito's Moscow Mule. That's my drink.
I went through was it 150 or 115, 120 wild turkey days years ago. Those are some interesting times here in Vegas. Interesting times. I just, anytime I go out now, I just have to make sure my liver's still with me. We still here?
I didn't hear anyone answer.
Yeah, he's drowning right now. So good things with Heyday. You guys got an investor. You guys are going to expand the company there, probably with the money. And do you sell on Amazon? Can I get your shoes on Amazon?
Yeah, we do actually sell on Amazon. We have our own storefront there. We're doing both fulfilled by seller, and we just started FBA, so fulfilled by Amazon Prime. Amazon's been very up and down. Like their whole interface, Seller Central, for you know, for e-commerce retailers. Man, is it complicated and breaks all the time. And then you got customer service from somewhere else in the world who, you know, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what the problem is. It's very complicated. But with 70% of searches starting on Amazon now instead of Google, you know, you got to be on Amazon.
Yeah, I've even been selling stuff on Amazon. I use Amazon for like an eBay. So if I have something that's kicking around, I got a new thing and I want to get rid of that thing, I just put it on Amazon. And I just use it like an eBay. Because on Amazon, I can actually hold more value on the product. If I put it on eBay, it's just like a fucking garage sale. If it's like $10, they want to pay 10 cents. Yeah, eBay is just awful. It's like a garage sale. I just sold my old PS4 because I got the new PS4 Pro, and I couldn't sell on Amazon, so I sold it on eBay, and I got one of those fake buyers from Germany who's trying to get me to ship it. He's like, no, the check will clear from my bank when you ship it. I'm like, how are you guys allowed on eBay? Like, and I've had so many failed purchases on eBay. It's not even funny. And so I just go eBay on Amazon. You can sell your used products on there. Buy something I want, a speaker, whatever, PS4. Well, not a PS4, but It's a great place to sell from the Seller Central feature there.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to look into doing the whole, I guess there's a lot of people who do the whole Alibaba thing. They get the products in Alibaba, and then
I tried doing a little drop shipping to just add to my product assortment.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't work because first, even using ePacket, which is their the shipping service out of China, where it takes supposedly up to 20 days, but it's very, very inexpensive. And it's specifically for manufacturers in Asia to sell individual products to customers. Except that 20 days frequently turned into 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, wow.
You know, if sometimes the vendors just disappeared, and like your order is just sitting there, and you don't even know what you're getting. You don't know the quality of what you're getting. Or it's shipping directly to the customer, then you're never seeing it. And well, okay, that's great. You don't have to hold the inventory. You're really removed from the transaction. But if you're selling fidget spinners, maybe that's okay. And all you're doing is drop shipping, whatever. But I built up a brand and a relationship, long-term relationship with my customers. And I've had to weather lots of fuck-ups and delays and problems with my own product.
Yep.
When you don't have your hands touching anything, you don't know what the customer's even receiving. You don't know what that experience is for the customer. And the customer's experience, especially upon opening that box, it's got to be magical. And coming from AliExpress, you just don't know what you're getting or when they're getting it. So I actually cut all of that out. What I am doing, though, is print on demand with a company called Printful, which plugs right into my Shopify store. And so, like, these hats, T-shirts, leggings, tons of things, you can design them, put them right up on the site, sell them, and then they fulfill it. So you're not buying any inventory. It's print on demand. I wish I could do that with the shoes.
That would be awesome.
You don't have to buy.
That would be the future.
You can come up with
3D print your shoes.
That's a long ways off, if it ever happens. I mean, it's happening slightly for Nike and Adidas and Under Armour, but that I don't see that as really turning into a real business for 5 or 10 years. I don't think.
I'd agree with you.
I'm doing the print on demand, which means I don't have to lay out any money for inventory, which is great. And then one thing that I just started doing yesterday, or I started setting it up yesterday, and I want to try this, is try a subscription model. So you have that recurring revenue. And the way I'm seeing that work is that if someone buys, let's say, a 3-month or a 6-month subscription, they would get every month or every 2 months or whatever we wind up making it, they would get a new pair of shoes, and they're charged at the time that it ships. But I have customers many customers, they're repeat buyers. Some of them buy every pair I make, and it matches every single outfit. They're collectors. But even for people who, they go to the gym, you should have a couple pairs of shoes to rotate. And depending on what you're doing, they may wear out. And if you are getting a subscription for, let's say, 3 pairs in 6 months, you get a discount for locking that subscription in. There's women's fashion brands like Shoe Dazzle and Shoe Fly. There's a couple of them. I think I forget what celebrity got into it. One of those women's shoe brands. Like, they do subscription models where every month you get a new pair of pumps. But those shoes are much cheaper and easier to make, and especially they're doing it in millions of pairs. And when you have that type of volume, you have leverage over the factories. I'm a small volume producer. So it's going to be challenging to see if this subscription model will work for me.
I really think you should do it. I really think you should.
I set up the app yesterday. I'm using an app from Bold Apps.
I had a friend, Matt, I forget his name, Matthew. He started one of those first box things. I don't know if he started the first one, but he was in there early on the monthly box concept, and I think they just had like tech doodads or some shit in it. Man, he started that company, and I remember he's like, Chris, it's like really crazy. We're just sitting around the house, you know, putting everything in the boxes and shipping them and stuff. And it seems like it was called Locker Box. He pretty much, they just went freaking huge, and it became one warehouse, 2 warehouses. And people just love those subscription box things. There's a dog box now. There's nut boxes.
Bark box, birch box for makeup.
Yeah, it's like everything is a freaking box now. I'm gonna have to box the Chris Voss Show and send it to people, for Christ's sake.
Huge hit.
Yeah, the Chris Voss in a box. I'll just pop out. Hey, I'm here in your house. Oh,
might be a big box.
It's gonna have to be a big box. I don't know if we're gonna have to look at the shipping costs on that. But I only want to be mailed to the Playboy Mansion too. That's pretty much the only place I'd want to be mailed to. I'd probably be able to get in that way. Hey, there's a guy in the box, man. Never mind. So why don't you show us some shoes, man? Plug some product here. Let's. There's probably people sitting here going, "When do we see the cool shoes?"
This is one of our first models. This is called the Super Shift.
Well, that looks like something out of what was that one movie?
Back to the Future. Yes, I get that a lot, even though the shoes technically have no resemblance to those Nikes that were made for that movie, but it's cool. They are futuristic looking. These have a completely flat sole. As you can see, there's no, the heel is not raised over the forefoot like in a running shoe. So when you're in the gym, let's say you're doing leg day, and you're doing squats or deadlifts, and you're going heavy, if you do it in a pair of running shoes, the foam will compress if you're squatting 400 or 500 pounds, which makes you unstable, wears out your shoes quickly. These shoes, this is completely flat. There is no additional cushioning other than the footbed. So this is really a great stable platform for any type of strength training like that. The design is really very unique. The eye stay, which is the part where the laces go through, is set back much further on Heydays than on a conventional shoe. So normally this would be kind of up here, and you'd have a regular tongue. But because I cut that eye stay back much further, the tongue wraps around your foot.
Oh, wow.
Provides cushioning on your shins, let's say when you're doing leg extensions, but also is just a very, very unique look. It doesn't look like any other shoe out there.
Oh, so that's like, so the bar doesn't wreck your leg when you're doing it. Oh, wow. See, I've been in the gym before. It was once, but I have been before.
Here's another model, which is actually on our cardio sole. This is on our cushion sole, which is still nearly flat on the inside, but cushioned enough that you can run in these. I've run in the street on these. I don't lift anymore. I box. My whole gym, we all box in these shoes. They're very, very lightweight, breathable, comfortable. You still get great ankle support. You still have that wraparound tongue, but it's all mesh.
Asking for a friend. Now, what if I'm running from the cops? Is that going to give me some managed leverage and getting away?
Absolutely.
Taser proof. That's what I'm looking for.
I want to know, what have you been lifting?
Yeah. I need taser proof shoes. That's what I'm looking for right there. Okay.
Well, you might be better off here in our tactical boot.
That looks like my Antifa boot. I still haven't decided how you pronounce Antifa, but
this is our tactical trainer. Same flat bottoms, ultra high top, higher than the other shoes.
Now, is that bulletproof around the top part there?
It's actually ballistic mesh.
Ballistic mesh. There you go. Okay. I don't know if that's a yes or a no, but we'll go with that.
So, and I have a lot of customers that are in the military or in law enforcement that now wear these shoes. This has become their duty boot for police officers. And most people in the military and in law enforcement, they also work out. Gotta stay fit and strong for their jobs. And this is almost like, okay, I wear a sneaker, but I still want to I'm used to wearing boots. So they get to wear boots that fit like sneakers. And of course, you don't have to wear these to the gym. I mean, they look cool with denim, with jeans or khakis. You just look cool. Like, we say that you can go from leg day to cardio to date night in the same shoe.
Yeah, they are really beautiful shoes. I mean, you could easily wear them, put some slacks on. No one's going to really see the high top, so slacks.
Here's something that's coming out next month that I think
when you said duty boot, duty.
When
you said duty boot, you know what I thought of? When I was a kid, my friend, all of his brothers were cowboys, like hardcore cowboys. Like, they had a farm and milk and cows, and hence the cowboy. I guess that makes sense. So, Captain Obvious. So I took in. So they had this rule that how a cowboy breaks in his hat. You know how a cowboy breaks in his hat?
No.
He puts it through number 1 and number 2, and
his own or the horse?
Huh?
His own 1 and 2 or
his
the horse?
Own. You gotta do it to your own. It's part of the break-in manual. So when you said duty boot, I was thinking of that. I'm like, well, okay, that's one way to break in a shoe.
Yeah, I mean, I've stepped in shit before. But
there you go.
I haven't washed myself in it.
Well, that's a whole nother website you can find on the dark web. So yeah, you got to pay for that show. So show us this other new boot here, Darin.
Well, this one is the same style as the other one, the Super Shift, but I made the tongue Velcro. The tongue is the fuzzy part of the Velcro, the loop part, and these letters are Velcro.
Oh, that is cool.
And you get a whole bag of letters and numbers, and you can write whatever the fuck you want.
That looks awesome. Dude, does anybody have that?
No.
That seems like that should be like super brilliant. Like, do you have a patent on that?
I don't. There was actually a patent on something from the 80s where they would create like a panel on the side and you could change it. Yeah. But that patent expired last year. So you can't take out a patent again on the same thing. Yeah. So there is no patent.
That is brilliant, dude. That is so freaking brilliant.
Yeah,
because people love to personalize their stuff. I mean, that's what these shoes are these days, is a personalization of, what your statement you're trying to make and what you're trying to say.
Absolutely. And this is a really easy way of doing it. And you can buy these on Amazon. You buy these on Amazon or eBay. I have a whole bunch here, but we made a couple of patches that look like the Punisher skull, and another one that looks like the curved like Ranger tab for the military that says Heyday. Plus all the letters, and the letters are all reflective, so they flash. And that comes out in October. It's called My Heyday.
Heyday, there you
go. People will be able to write whatever they want on there. It doesn't matter.
What you should do that box subscription system for is so people can, they get a box every month of different Velcro stick-ons.
Different patches and stuff. That could work.
Yeah. You have a patch box. There you go. I'll expect a check for that.
That works.
Patch box.
Patch box.
Or if that, I think they send patch boxes to people in war-torn Syria. It's like you just get a whole new set of patches every month to fix all those head wounds. I don't know that. I'm sure that's a good joke or funny, but maybe that'll make it funnier. New York is calling. Those are cool. I really like those, Darin. Those are really awesome.
Thank you.
I would almost
that idea.
Those.
That came from a conversation I had last summer with a friend who was just trying to help me brainstorm some stuff, and it took basically a year to have it come to fruition. But here it is. It's they're shipping in October.
Keeping your ear to the ground, watching Instagram. Yeah, good stuff. What do you think about Instagram? Do you guys use Snapchat and Instagram? I
don't use Snapchat, although I do have an account there, Heyday Footwear. But I'm I'm pretty active on Instagram, probably post 8 to 10 times a day. Wow. And I do use Instagram stories now. I have a grid pattern that I use for my Instagram feed of a white background product shot and then a lifestyle shot or a user generated shot. And it alternates. And because of I'm doing it that way, I sort of like, I used to put personal stuff or just not random things, but sort of random pertaining to shoes up on there. But I don't want to do that anymore because I have a system now of product, lifestyle. So I'm now using Instagram stories to just do sort of personal stuff or random stuff or sneak peeks of product. I get photos from the factory and I know, okay, well, it's going to disappear in 24 hours. So, unless someone does a screen capture, it's there and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Which is fine. And I do Instagram live quite a bit, maybe once a week or so. And I talk with my fans, my customers. I show them new products. I show them stuff on my computer that I'm working on. I show them around my office. People love it. They love really knowing who's behind that brand. It's not, we're not Nike. It's basically me, and I got my business partner in China at the factory and my marketing and SEO consultant in Madrid, and that's the company. Three of us, plus my investor, Jim. That's the whole company. And this dog sitting over here in the corner.
You better get that dog to work. I think that dog's laying down on the job.
Yeah, he's laying down.
They tend to do that. I quit hiring dogs a long time ago because they tend to they're lazy bastards. That's what they are. They're lazy.
That's what he does all day.
Yeah. Hey, get to work. Get to work, our dog. Go on. Let's get shipping some shoes there, buddy. Or you're chewing some. He probably does the chew testability for you, doesn't he?
He's never chewed a shoe in his whole life.
He's
chewed wooden moldings off my bathroom door, but never done shoes.
Dude, he lives in dog world, dream world, where he can get all the shoes he wants to chew on. Wow, he's set up like nobody's business there.
He's staring at the wall right now. Exactly.
I do that often. Sometimes, whenever I'm the teacher puts me in a corner. It's fairly often. But well, it sounds like you're doing awesome there, Darin. Sounds like you're doing good. It was probably it probably all worked out because we met in 2011, so I'll take claim for it. And
fine.
It's probably because we reviewed your shoes on the Chris Voss Show. We propelled you to wherever you are now.
It all started with you, Chris.
That's usually that's what every baby's mama tells me. Every time we're on Mari, it's the kid is yours. So, but fun is fun. I guess we've been friends this whole time for all these years, huh?
Yeah, I see you on Facebook. I see you on Twitter. I'm sorry about your husky.
Oh yeah.
I did watch that whole thing play out from afar. I feel it, man. My dog's 12 years old. I can't imagine life without him, but it's gonna happen someday.
He's like looking over, like, "What the fuck are you talking
Nothing's
about?"
happening, Henry. Like you're not going anywhere. You're just fine. Relax.
Daddies. No, it is sad that we have to face the inevitable. Or most people, when you have kids, they kind of expect that unless some sort of atrocity happens, that you won't have to bury your kids. And it's really hard to look through. One thing I didn't realize is there's actually a thing called anticipatory grief, and that's the going through what's going to happen. So, but we're hopefully going to get this. I've got the dog podcast for her going. I've got the first episode in the can. I just got to finish building the site and get it all uploaded, and then we'll have some other vets on. So we're hopefully going to be making some resources for people to be able to get support and information, because that's really the most crippling thing you run into when you get the bomb dropped on you that there's something wrong with your animal. Is they don't give you a lot of resources. and you just feel helpless, which is even more damning. So, but fun is fun, man. It was great talking to you. Anything else you want to tell us before we?
I actually did create a discount code for your fans. Let me just confirm what it is, and then I'll give it to you. And let's see here. The code is Chris Voss, and that is for 20% off at Heyday Footwear.
20% off Chris Voss. One word or two words?
It's one word.
One word, Chris Voss. 20% off. There you go. Heyday shoes. I've tried them. They're nice. If I wasn't a flip-flopping moron who dresses like the dude all the time.
The dude abides.
The dude abides. The dude abides. So you can go to heydayfootwear.com. It's heydayfootwear.com. Check it out. You can, of course, follow Darin. Where else can they follow you on?
It's Heyday Footwear on Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, Google Plus. What else? What other networks are there?
Google Plus, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat.
Yeah, it's Heyday Footwear on all of them.
All right, so just look for you there. Well, Darin, thanks for coming on the show, and we'll look forward to having you again. Hopefully we won't wait 6 years for the next one.
I'll send you some low tops in a month or two.
Yeah, that sounds like a great deal. All right, bud. So be sure to check out that discount code, guys. Give us a like, subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. Check out our Patreon /Chris Voss, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Darin.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, bye-bye.